wife and your family? What are you leaving them? And he said, I'm leaving them Allah and the Prophet. So he didn't have this sense of total attachment to the things that he considered that he owned in a material sense. But, I think it's very important to understand how we create these ties and these connections from a familial sense. It was the daughter, Aisha, of Abu Bakr, who later became the wife of the Prophet Muhammad. Okay, so one of the things that they did that solidified their relationship and tightened and strengthened the battle of their relationship was that they married their families together. So it was the young daughter, Aisha, that became the wife of the Prophet Muhammad. And in doing that, it was Abu Bakr who became his father-in-law. And a lot of times we miss that today, unfortunately, because we marry so often in secret. And sometimes, of course, and again, understandable, if you are someone who is consciously aware and living and acting on that conscious awareness, a lot of times it is maybe the family of the person who you are courting who may not necessarily accept you, in many instances may not even like you, and that is something that we constantly have to deal with. So when we think about the idea of marrying the families together, often it's just not possible. And, I often tell men that's an important thing to consider when you are making a lot of demands as far as what you want in a woman. And there's nothing wrong with wanting certain things in a woman, but you have to understand sometimes what you're not bringing. And, of course, what she's not bringing. If you are joining with a woman and your two families cannot create a cohesive web as one family, and again to build upon tribe and build upon, clan and build upon nation, then you're both missing out on something and your children are missing out on something. Because the engineers and the politicians and the doctors and the legal people and the mechanics and the farmers and all of those who have different technical skills or different communal organizing skills or whatever it is that exists on each side of those families, they now cannot create a web with one another if there is not a proper and true joining. But when there is now, you not only strengthen the bonds, but that lawyer now has a farmer. That farmer now has someone who can engineer, who they can trust, because we're all related to each other now. So imagine the strength that's now transcribed through those relationships, and that's created, and that can now serve not only the community, but can serve the family because of the bonding of marriage. So when Abu Bakr gave his daughter Aisha to the Prophet Muhammad, which became his third wife, and she was actually his youngest one, but his third wife. Now the bond of not only their families, but of their friendship and their brotherhood became even stronger. You see, it became even stronger. So again, Abu Bakr being, we'll say historically the first caliph, but again, my perspective is a bit different. To succeed the Prophet Muhammad was, of course, a very close friend of his. That's who succeeded him. And he made some very interesting movements. It was under his command and under his rule that we receive, and again, a little debatable, but we received the compilation of what's known today as the Quran. Because during that time, there were people who said, this information may be lost, so we need to document it. And, we need to put this together in a way so that it can hold firm. So that happened under his caliph. And his caliph was only 27 months, his caliphate. So he only was